On AM Extra, smashing barriers to success. Portland nonprofit Elevate Him is celebrating half a decade of helping men overcome incarceration, addiction, and more with grace and compassion. Founder Nicole Brewster Bishop joins us live this morning with a look at how they're celebrating 5 years of rebuilding lives and how you can be a part of that mission. Nicole, good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
It's so great to have you here.
Thank you.
I know that this is a cause very near and dear to your heart. Tell us about how you first got started with Elevate Him.
Yeah, I would have to use the word pain. About 14 years ago, I lost my brother to suicide.
I'm so sorry.
And that morning, we were supposed to get together. And so there was a lot of questions and hurt, and I didn't understand why. And so, a couple years later, after kind of digesting such a, huge event in my life, turns out that I could do something. And when I started to research, suicide and its mentality, it was 4 out of 5 men, commit suicide. So I knew that the numbers were high. That was for decades. That wasn't just this year. That's been for decades. And so when you look at numbers and what men are going through on a regular basis, especially with the society that says you got to be strong and you got to be a provider and a leader and all these things, how can they actually show up in their best self if we don't have those support systems in place? And so we see incarceration, we see recovery, addictions, we see unemployment rates and all these things. So I just felt in my heart that I could do something, and it was a pain to purpose effect.
Absolutely. Well, and one of the things that I think Elevate Him does so beautifully is bring together some of those internal battles, some of those conversations that might be hard for a lot of men in our lives to have, with some of the external factors too, and really helping them feel like they can show up as their best self in the world. So tell us about how you're doing that.
So I kind of came up with the concept, I traveled a lot with the, career that I have, and I was seeing how men were treating each other when they were looking their best. So a man who's wearing a suit, I felt like there was a stature in their poise. I felt like their handshake, their demeanor, all of that played a huge role in how they were respecting each other. And I thought, what a great way to piece a confidence attitude to Elevate Him, because I feel like in my personal experience, it could diminish the ideologies or the thought process of suicide. So a crisis to confidence, right? When you look good, you feel good.
Right.
And when you feel good, good feels like it's coming to you. So you feel like you can get through those trials and tribulations and those things that you're in, and just showing up for yourself. A lot of the guys that I sue have never had the experience of even wearing one.
Yeah.
So what a gift to say, you can show up, you got this, you can get that job, and really help empower that confidence and self-esteem so we can see dynamics and relationships change. We can see the workloads and workforce change. We can see just how they show up, getting out of incarceration and being in our communities again.
Yeah, it is such an empowering experience to have a suit fitted to you, to feel like this is, the way to put your best foot forward. And I know that's something you're focused on this month as you celebrate 5 years as a nonprofit. So how can people get involved?
There's about 4 ways that I came up with. Of course, sharing what we do with your friends and family, your social group, your church, things of that nature, maybe the company you work with, and maybe somebody has been affected by suicide. Maybe they have that experience in their life and they want to be able to give back. So that's always a great way of just sharing the story. The second thing is, we love hands on deck. We love people who want to volunteer, and it's such a, big thing when we're working with clothing and doing all the organization. So that's always huge. If you have clothes you want to donate, there's a lot of guys that are retiring and doing different career work, or even the pandemic really had people in different clothes. So when you're shifting out your closet, we would love to take those donations. And last, of course, monetary. So we can keep the door open. I'm speaking in these prisons. I'm doing a lot of outreach, a lot of boots on the ground. So what a great way to help allow us to stay open and continue the hard and impactful work that we are doing.
Yeah, it is wonderful work, and we're grateful to get to put a spotlight on it here this morning.
Yes,
Nicole, thanks for being here.
Birthday.
Absolutely. And hey, if you want to learn more about Elevate Him and the help they are offering to men in our community, how you can help rebuild their lives, check out this story on KOIN.com. Just click on AM Extra.